doing a quick video on how to use this. So you can open the default workspace here, or you can see your recent workspace. You could also select different one. Once you have your studio open here, you have your Explorer for files. You can add file, modify them as a classic IDE. Here you have your different Clode terminal opened. So once you have a Clode terminal open here, you can assign it a personality. If you do, then it's gonna give it a prompt that it can use to be that personality. Also, if you use the chat mode here, you can type stuff, and automatically it will be added to the Clode terminal as an append. So here, if you need this terminal, sometime people have trouble with modifying some stuff. So if you have a longer thing to type, you could always use the chat and then input it inside the terminal directly. So like that, you have a better way of handling this. So you can also resize every window. So this is all resizable as you like if you want more IDE or more of the Kanban board down there. And you can always boot different personality for them to code simultaneously on the project. So here I could have my architect doing my architect stuff, and then here my developers doing different stuff. And once they're done, they will be sending me notification that they're done. I will show you how it looks a bit later. So here, basically, we have the Kanban board. This is using this task here. So once you move a task back and forth, it's going to move it also in that task. And the same way that if you give task instruction to Clode here, it's going to give him the task instruction that he needs to read to understand how to move them by himself or create task. You can also add task manually, and then there will be an input telling Clode, oh, I've added some task. There's also a hook that allows you to force Clode to update after every task a new task for him to create a task in your backlog to do. So there's also a normal terminal if you need to run anything there. The MCP is all the connection that are added. So here I don't have any in this one. I can quick add any popular MCP with different variables. So if I need to input any variable, it's going to ask me which one. Or you can also use here your remote one that are popular, like context 7. So instantly would be added to the project and tell me that I'm connected to it. After that, one thing that I really like, usually it's to know how many files are there in my project. So there's a lot of stuff that happens that I'm not sure what's being modified when Clode does it. So I like to track what is he modifying, and also have a way to access it. There's a way to also create checkpoint, which I'll come back a bit later to it. But when you create a checkpoint, you get a state of all the stuff that are saved. So like your context, everything how many files you add and everything. So if you're about to create a bigger functionality, it's a good idea to create a checkpoint to have that to reference to. The knowledge base is something that's being used to be linked a lot of places. So you can add your knowledge base here. You can assign it to different stuff. And once you create a knowledge base, right, it opens here in the editor a way to assign it to either architecture, API reference, give priority, and relate some file. So what's nice about this is that you can also relate files like any type of file, or you can also relate other knowledge base entry. So once you want Clode to respect certain stuff, you can add your knowledge base here or some stuff that you want him to respect, and automatically he would reference it. And this is also plugged with our sub agents a bit later. So once you create your knowledge base here, it's going to be accessible at a few places for Clode to access. A slash command. So your slash command here are the one that you have on your main Clode installation. You can always add new command either to the project directly or to your main installation. So if you do, there's some stuff that are proposed already to help you build them, and you can see which one you already have to and see what they do exactly. Then we have our prompt builder. Here we have the prompt builder is something that you can do to have a better way to have prompts. So once you have your prompt that you want, you can just execute it and it would be sent. So let's just give an example. I want my system prompt to say something. Then I have context. I want to add some information. I can also link some resource there. So let's say I want to link certain resource like this. Then my resources are attached there. I can give some instruction. I can give some example, constraint, output format, whatever I want. So every time I put something, it's going to be put here under bracket, following some of the recommendation from Anthropic on how to use prompt, right? So the same way also you can add your sub agent. So if I want to create a sub agent, I can assign it a personality. I can also give him task, and the same way I can add some resource to it, like knowledge base or file, or even tell him to use some hooks or MCP tools. So, and the same way in common. So you can build your sub agent here and make them use what you want. So once you have that, you can send that to either the chat or execute directly. If you send it to chat, it's to put it inside that little window we have here, and you can modify it more if you want. Or you can just do execute or save it as a template if it's something that you think you might run often. So if I do execute, it'll just be had, and then I can launch my stuff for Clode to start working on it. Then let's get to books, because I've just discussed about it. So by default, we already have those two that can help you a lot. So it's also instance aware. If you add those two hook by default, once one of your terminal is finished or needs your input for anything, you're going to get a notification directly telling you which instance need your help. And there's also a default quick template hook, but you can also create your own custom hook that is upcoming, but you would be able to create your own custom hook soon. And then you can see also your setting files. So in your setting files, you could also create them there directly if you want. But for now, there will also be a creator that's going to be helpful, a bit like we did for the slash comments. Then there's the session. I was discussing a bit earlier about the context. So this context is more about the how it is in the IDE than the context of close. So you can try to resume a session if you know that there were some stuff that were different, and see what changed between those. So let's say you had some context change or knowledge base change, anything that's on the IDE side, then you can go back there and see what went wrong. Same way in context, so I just discussed about it, those checkpoints. So you can see all the one that you have saved and what's in there. And then you have memory. So memory is the stuff that is inside Clode MD. So if you don't have a Clode MD, there's some template to help you build it. So it's some good template that gives you what you should say, and like how to build a really good Clode MD. You can also have some quick add memories, some stuff that are necessary, and we propose some, but you can always add whichever you need. And the same way you have access to your user memory. So this one is all your Clode settings. So a good way to access to see what's happening, or if you need to modify something there, then you have access to it. As you can see here, I use Super Clode, so it's gonna help me present the next thing here, where there's also what you import. So there's some file that might be imported by your Clode because you built them. You can also add some, so you can import, see what those import are and what they do. So if you click on it, it would be imported. It would be shown directly in the editor, and you can modify them directly from there instead of having to find them inside your computer and just modifying them. And yeah, so memory context session is done. Search is just a search function to look through the entire project, obviously. And you have some settings to reset the workspace and all the caches. And finally, you have your common tree. So this is to learn also how to reach certain place. So your memory could be called with, well, for me, it's Control M, right? And same for open files, save stuff. So it's just a way to remember, but you also get access to all your Clode command and the one that would work. So you can get like a quick view of this one. You can always use Command K to get this this thing up. So this is a full overview of what's there right now. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out.